One of the hardest things to do in a business is to know what needs to be done first and which order of business task executions you need to follow until you get to the final product. So many people start businesses and later realize they have made mistakes or they forgot steps. And sometimes people realize there is something that was supposed to be done ahead of time, which could have helped the business run smoothly. I've been there before and I made a lot of mistakes. And then eventually I learned a strategy which helped me understand which steps I need to follow when starting a business all the way until I get to the final product. And it has worked for me for so many years and I hope you like it too. In this video, I am going to share that trick with you. It's very simple. Even a child can understand it. I use a strategy called the backward strategy. What I do is very simple. I first figured out what my final product is going to be. This is the product I'm going to be selling to the customer. After figuring out what my final product is, then I work my way backwards until I get to the very first task I need to do to start the business. Here is a very simple example. Let's say I want to be a dairy farmer. I'll be selling milk to, let's say, a nearby cheese company. So that means my final product, which I'm going to sell to the customer, is going to be raw milk. Let's use this strategy and work backwards to see what needs to be done first when starting a dairy farm. I know my final product is milk. Where do I get milk? So the milk comes from a cow. That means I need a cow. But if I have a cow right now, I cannot start selling milk because I'm going to need a place where the cow will sleep. So that means I need a cow shed. So before I buy a cow, I need a cow shed. If I have a cow and a cow shed, can I start selling milk? No, because the cow has not eaten yet. So that means I need to feed the cow. Now, what does the cow eat? The cow eats grass. Do I have the grass? Well, the grass comes from farm. Now, I will have many options when it comes to sourcing the grass. So now I know before I buy a cow or build a shed, I need to have grass, or at least figure out a way I am going to source the grass. Where am I going to get the grass? Right? I can either buy the grass or grow my own. Buying the grass is feasible, but a terrible business idea because most of my profit will go into sourcing the grass. So the best option for me will be to grow my own grass. Here's a question. Do I have land to grow the grass or do I have to lease the land to grow the grass? Now, if I have money, I can buy the land and grow my own grass. If I don't have enough funds, I will have to lease the land. The next question is, do I have enough money to buy the land or lease the land and then take care of all these business expenses? From there, you can see the first thing you need is money. But if you have the money problem solved already, then you have to start planting the grass. You can either lease the land or you can buy your own land, plant the grass, make hay and the silage. And then in these steps, in every step, you'll be figuring out what the business cost is going to be, how many people you're going to need, what are expenses, and everything from there. When you execute in this business, you're going to start from planting the grass, making silage and hay, and then storing them. And then after that, you're going to build a shed, and then you buy the cows, you take care of the cow, you manage the cows, and then you start milking the cows, and then you start selling milk. Now, this strategy is really critical because it shows you which step needs to be done first before the next one. And this is important because most people make mistakes because when they think about, for example, starting a dairy farm, the first thing they do is buy a cow. And then once they get the cow, they realize they don't have a shed for the cow. And then they build a shed. Once they get the shed and the cow, they realize they don't have the grass or the feed. If you have a cow that is sitting right here and you plant the grass, it's going to take 3 to 5 months for the grass to grow. The cow won't be waiting. That's why they end up purchasing the grass, which ends up costing a lot of money. And eventually the business fail because they never followed the proper steps needed to establish a business. This is really a simple strategy. If you are starting a business, try to apply this simple concept in your business endeavor and share your thoughts and tell me what you think. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. As always, thank you for watching.